Redmond O'Neal, the offspring of Farrah Fawcett, has unveiled his worsening psychological state and judicial woes. Despite his late mother's explicit directives and monetary safeguards for his well-being, this 40-year-old has endured a lifetime looping through incarceration, rehab facilities, and psych units. Fresh revelations are surfacing, captivating global attention. How fares Redmond O'Neal? Is improvement on the horizon, or does hope flicker faintly? Join us as we dissect the unvarnished facts. Let's dive in. Redmond O'Neal's existence evokes profound sorrow, compelling observers to contemplate the vulnerability of the psyche, irrespective of lineage or prestige. As progeny of cinematic luminaries Ryan O'Neal and Farrah Fawcett, figures once synonymous with stardom and triumph, many presume celebrity spawn inherit lavish destinies brimming with prospects and entitlements. Yet Redmond's plight demonstrates that renown and riches offer no bulwark against internal tempests. Now 40, clinicians view his prognosis as somber, exerting maximal efforts amid glacial advancements. Specialists affirm his psychiatric afflictions as profoundly intricate and formidable. Diagnoses encompass schizophrenia, bipolar affliction, and antisocial behavioral syndrome. Individually taxing, their convergence forms an enigmatic conundrum for therapeutic squads. Schizophrenia warps his grasp on verity, engendering perceptual distortions and cognitive turmoil. Bipolar swings induce manic elevations and depressive abysses. Antisocial traits manifest in recurrent indifference to others' entitlements and sentiments. Envision the torment of bearing this triad, a relentless internal fray. For healers, equilibrium proves arduous. Remedies for one malady may exacerbate another, yielding precarious progress prone to reversal. Redmond's ordeals stem not from void, but from entrenched substance dependency that exacerbated his psyche to near irretrievability. Authorities posit that chronic intoxication not merely disrupted routines, but irrevocably reshaped neural pathways. Such profound alterations render conventional interventions, pharmacological or psychotherapeutic, diminished in potency. Picture mending a lesion that perpetually reopens despite dressings. That's the perpetual skirmish clinicians wage with Redmond. Compounding this, unresolved juvenile adversities persist as spectral burdens. Unaddressed scars shadow every life phase, impeding restoration. How attain serenity when history clings tenaciously? In 2019, jurisprudence compelled involvement in Redmond's trajectory, albeit unconventionally. Stemming from 2018 indictments for armed larceny and ferocious aggressions, offenses warranting prompt adjudication, evaluators pronounced him judicially incapacitated. Plainly, he couldn't fathom proceedings or aid counsel in exculpation. Tribunals decreed his disorders precluded lucid cognition therein. Thus, bypassing conventional prosecution, he was consigned to psychotherapeutic oversight. Accusations lingered dormant in dossiers, awaiting potential amelioration for resumption. Should restoration elude, do indictments stagnate eternally, mirroring his stasis? Within custodial environs, advancement registers as negligible, bordering immobile. Attendants depict erratic dispositions, profound suspicion alternating with effective seclusion. Regimens encompass pharmacovigilance, counseling encounters, and regimented pursuits for anchorage, yet compliance waivers. Certain instances, he spurns medicaments, deeming them toxic, a schizophrenia-linked phantasm. Alternately, remorse flickers, voicing lament for outcomes, only to relapse into frenzy or detachment. Paradoxically, salubrious elixirs evoke peril to the afflicted. Kinship, deemed a prime restorative pillar for psychiatric woes, wanes in Redmond's narrative. Documentation reveals scant familial intercourse, largely self-initiated rebuff. Isolation hampers convalescence. Savants emphasize relational scaffold's pivotal role in multifaceted pathologies. Yet Redmond barricades, not solely corporeal, but sentimental, erecting barriers against solace bearers. Ponder his psyche amid repudiation, ire, trepidation, or mortification. Fiscal auspices derive predominantly from maternal bequest, Farrah Fawcett's endowment sustaining escalating curative expenditures annually. Custodians express apprehension, not fiscal paucity, but paucity of yields despite lavish infusions. Provocative inquiry resolves currency all quandaries? For Redmond, negation prevails. Affluence procures ministration, drafts, discourse, yet not volition for mending, nor obliteration of scars and disequilibria. Farrah apprehended this. Her terminal edicts, lucidly articulated predemise, centered singularly on her beleaguered heir. Persist to terminus for her affection's enduring imprint. Farrah Fawcett's concluding epics brimmed with subdued anguish she couldn't relinquish. Battling terminal malignancy, cogitations fixated on her solitary scion's Moro, Redmond O'Neal. Intimates recollect preoccupations transcending corporeal torment, fixating on posthumous prospects. How reposes a matriarch when progeny grapples inexorably with inner fiends? Even as vitality ebbed, maternal vigilance persisted spiritually for her ensnared offspring. Annie, June 25, 2009 culmination, dialogues inexorably reverted to Redmond. Companions observed inevitable digressions thereto. His welfare? Sustenance? Liberation from narcotic abyss? Bedside confidants attest terminal lucidity invoked his trajectory, aspiring constancy amid juridical and dependency fetters. Corporeal frailty notwithstanding, cardiac fidelity endured. Exemplary maternity, channeling vitality toward progeny amid evanescence. Concurrently incarcerated for narcotic infractions, epistolary bonds fortified despite carceral barriers, sustaining tenuous ties, sans capitulation to self-absorption. Addiction muddied dynamics, yet Redmond anchored her essence till cessation. Quintessential maternity, unconditional amity amid adversity. Verbal endearments paled beside prudent legacies. Farrah discerned severity, channeling patrimony surgically. A $4.5 million fiduciary corpus, no mere largesse, but calibrated bulwark. Stipulations mandated allocation to salubrity and reclamation, forestalling misuse. Cognizant that unfettered opulence might exacerbate dependency, maternal guardianship manifested pragmatically, perpetuating oversight posthumously. Sagacity precluded facilitation. Addiction defies pecuniary panacea. Directives enjoined fiduciaries rigorously. Allocations solely for remediation, pharmacopoeia, psychotherapy, succor fostering equilibrium. Thus, bequeath not mere affection but accountability. Amid dissolution, perspicacity and fortitude shone. Yet fiscal insufficiency loomed, emotive scaffolds ensued. Beseeching intimates, enduring allies, to sentinel progeny, forging surrogate kin for scaffolding, amity, attendance. Indispensable, fiscal without relational void. Redmond craved interpersonal anchorage, liability, ministration. Addiction's gale rends even robust meshes. Despite exertions, endowments, pledges, Redmond's tempests raged post-eclipse. Agonizing query. Salvages maternal ardor progeny from self-skirmishes invariably? Farrah expended utmost, yet externalities transcend dominion. Contemporarily, Farrah evokes not solely Charlie's Angel's radiance, but maternal tenacity. Terminal epics prioritized progeny over solace, contriving, fretting, loving eternally. Terminal utterances, bequests, aspirations centered him. Narrative endures rippling kinesthesis, poignant and labyrinthine. Post-Ryan O'Neal's demise, frictions intensified, unfinished sagas persisting. Abide for profundity. Ryan O'Neal's December 2023 exodus terminated Hollywood epic, exhuming unhealed fissures in progeny bonds. Demise compelled retrospection on tumultuous paterfamilias ties, unveiling multi-decadal anguish. Kin aver mortality unites. For O'Neal's, it accentuated schisms. Could accumulated ire, animus, affliction erect insurmountable ramparts? Query pervaded aftermath, manifesting not uncomplicated lamentation, but colliding legacies of sentiment. Starkest, youngest heir Redmond's funerary omission. Amid memorial, institutionalization precluded co-mourning. Psych ward barred graveside stance. Narrative exchange, valediction. Provocative, filial bereavement amid sequestration, ritual exclusion. Staff cautioned transient liberation imperiled precarious equilibrium. Kin convened reverentially. Redmond isolated, emblematic of existential estrangement. O'Neal lineage notorious for convoluted alliances. Ryan's terminus spotlighted intricacies. Tatum O'Neal, erstwhile juvenile luminary, endured protracted paternal alienation spanning 25 annals. Recent ameliorations hinted restoration. Demise burdened Tatum with amalgamated sorrow and ambiguity. Grief's progenitor evoking equi-loving laceration. Terminal clemency efface antecedent cicatrices. Public-private tussles unveiled terminal complexity. Griffin O'Neal opted detachment post-obituary dissemination. Vocalizing fractious heritage, abstention articulated stance. Funerals ostensibly vivify. Overburdened affliction precludes co-graveside. Griffin's reticence, corporeal void, commentary evinced uncauterized lesions. Affliction eclipsing amity, undeviatingly. Fractures clarified via progeny imputations. Tatum, Griffin evoked juvenile corporeal, sentimental maltreatment. Negligence pervasive, parental perimeters breached recurrently. Domestic narcotics normalized, delineating O'Neal progeny rearing. Glamorous facade veiled divergent reminiscence. Sanctuary, nurturance absent. Inevitable familial disjunction, direst allegation, paternal narcotic initiation for nascent Redmond. Voracious, sowed dependency, psychiatric seeds via guardian. Stability sans protective navigation toward perdition. Redmond's juvenility presaged institutional terminus. Funerary absenteeism transcended present, irrevocable past sculpted. Post-Ryan, O'Neal chronicle mirrored perpetuity, riven, interrogative, love resentment interstice. Progeny candor, discourses, reminiscences, declarations, diverged narratively yet converged paternally. Paternality eclipsed stardom. Public astonishment at disunity amid unity's summons. Chroniclers foresaw inexorability. Demise reopened entrenched lacerations. Familial edifice fissured. Lamentation mends. Recollecting benevolence. O'Neal's highlighted unresolved affliction. Tatum's ambivalence. Griffin's taciturnity. Redmond's compulsion delineated disparate stances despite paternity. Demise etched conflicts profoundly. Separate realms bloodbound, history riven. Agonizing verity. Mortality etched fissures eternally. Heart-wrenching. Redmond's antiquity molds contemporaneity, abiding shadows. Redmond O'Neal's chronicle evokes pathos and intricacy, inexorable upon scrutinizing formative strata. Turbulence not abrupt, but patterned pre-institutional, juridical thresholds. Fame dysfunction milieu yields tumultuous trajectories unsurprisingly. Vicissitudes antedated 2018, 20s, decades gestating via dependency. Ire, volition spiraling uncontrollably despite retrievals. Narcotic entanglement central, delineating sequelae. Juvenility ensnared substances scripting criminal ledger. Initial apprehension at 20 presaged biennial tenor. Possession indictment. Genesis, heroin, methamphetamine cyclicity. Rehabilitative ingress hopeful, recidivism inexorable. By 2018, 13 narcotic apprehensions accrued. Contemplation unveils entrenched fray beyond mischance, misjudgment, unvanquishable dominion. Did emancipation seem feasible, or resignation prevailed? Accompanying destructivity, vehemence, escalation. Initial property-directed outbursts symbolically vented internal maelstrom. Temporal progression targeted irreparables. Temper, impulses inexcusable. Dependency ire amalgam perilous. Redmond incarnated peril. 2018 pivot. Severity, peril zenith. May hebdomad. Redmond astounded kin. Los Angeles. Convenience larceny accusation. Escalation, stranger lateral incision, bottle-wielded assault, 5 unprovoked aggressions. Brutality, cranial stab underscoring vehemence apex. Apprehension yielded narcotics, dependency criminal nexus reaffirmation. Charge litany prompts, precipitous declination, preemptive mitigation feasible. Beyond infractions, dependency lurks intimate stratum, paternity. Institutional sojourns. Redmond imputes progenitors for anguish, celebrity ethos, mutual dependencies as downfall genesis. Environment fractured pre-autonomy. Resentment profundity repudiates kin overtures, severing restorative conduits. Observers note self-orchestrated seclusion, bitterness repelling aids. Query. Reconciliation foreclosure quashes transformation? Redmond, Farrah scion, pop cultural potentates. Nepotistic presumption, privilege, opportunity assured. Reality antithetical, parental vicissitudes shadowed juvenility. Stability absent, chaotic unpredictability. Neglect, dysfunction imputations indubitable. Hollywood veneer conceals obscurities. Contemporarily, Redmond's narrative confinement, thwarted aptitude. Recollected not accomplishments, vocations, societal infusions, but apprehensions, dependency, vehemence. Headline ubiquity derives deeds, not parentage. Ironic reversal, glamour inverted. Alternate environs avert. Destiny arduous invariably. Farrah's prescience transcended pecuniary. Emotive bulwarks ensued, beseeching confidants, enduring sentinels, to progeny guardianship. Surrogate kinship forged, scaffolding, ardor, attendance. Indispensable relational amid fiscal. Redmond craved interpersonal, liability, ministration. Addiction rends meshes. Exertions notwithstanding, tempests persisted. Maternal potency salvific invariably. Farrah expended, externalities transcend. Farrah evokes maternal tenacity. Terminal prioritization, progeny over solace, contriving eternally. Narrative ripples kinesthesis. Ryan's terminus intensified frictions, unfinished sagas. Funerary omissions, estrangements unveiled multi-decadal fissures. Demise accentuated schisms. O'Neal chronicle riven, interrogative. Progeny candor diverged yet converged paternally. Public astonishment, inexorability foreseen. Familial edifice fissured, lamentation highlighted unresolved. Disparate stances despite paternity. Mortality etched profoundly, bloodbound, history riven. Redmond's antiquity molds, abiding shadows. Thus concludes Redmond O'Neal's poignant chronicle, from Hollywood scion to institutional odyssey. Heart-wrenching? Thumbs up if resonated, comment insights, subscribe for akin narratives. Thrilling tales await. Engage next pop-up. Farewell.